Well, hello everyone. Sue from Sizzling Towards 60 and Beyond here. And I have a great guest here today with us because next week is Smart Healthy Eating Week, and it's from the 11th to the 19th, and it fits quite well with our Fit Fab Feb for 2019. So I've asked my friend Erin O'Neill, who's an accredited practicing dietitian, along today. So welcome, Erin.
Thank you for having me.
And she's going to answer a few little questions that I've put together and explain to us a bit about what smart eating is, and also some tips for women over 50 to help us eat a little bit healthier and look after ourselves a bit better. So I'll just start off a little bit, first of all, Erin, and ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what your business is.
So I run a private practice dietetic business in Boonah in southeast Queensland. I opened my practice 4 months ago. Before that I was working in the public sector as a dietitian.
Okay.
So I decided to go out on my own. I studied at Queensland University of Technology. I did a 4-year bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics, and graduated as a dietitian.
Okay, so congratulations on starting a new business.
Thank
That's
you.
always a bit daunting,
Yes.
but I'm sure that you will cope with that no problem at all. As I said before, it's Smart Eating Week next week, and I hadn't actually heard that term before, so I'd like to get your take on what you think smart eating actually means.
Well, to me, smart eating means listening to your body when it comes to eating, listening to your body cues, listening to when your body tells you that you need food, and listening to your body when it tells you that it's had enough, listening to what your body's telling you that you want, and not being bound by any rules in terms of diets, not restricting things unnecessarily. So just, trying to follow the lead of what your body's telling you that it needs and when it needs it.
Yes, so being more mindful of what is right for us, because we know ourselves better than anyone else.
That's right.
And not sort of following what the latest trend is.
Yeah.
Because, it's no good trying for quick fixes.
And none of us want to eat the same thing every day, so following a set of rules for eating our lives are so different every day, and you're going to run into a bind sooner or later.
Yeah, and I was wondering what your top tips might be for women over 50 to just ensure that we're eating a well-balanced diet. I know that sometimes my daughter gets a bit annoyed at me because she thinks that I probably don't eat as well as what I should with the amount of exercise that I do and things like that. And also, you go through menopause, your body changes and your metabolism changes. So what are some tips you can give my readers and followers of Sizzling Towards 60 that will help them enjoy life but also keep healthy on the inside?
Number one for women over 50 is calcium. So after you've been through menopause, your calcium requirements practically double. The protective effects of estrogen while you're having your monthly hormonal cycles are very the estrogen is protective on your bones. Once your estrogen levels drop off, the bone breakdown starts to happen a lot quicker. So we need to be eating enough calcium to be replacing that bone breakdown. So 4 serves of dairy a day is what you need to get your 1200 milligrams of calcium. Fibre is really important. We need to be getting between 25 and 30 grams of fibre a day. It's really important for our gut health. Helps to keep you fuller for longer, provides you with lots of antioxidants in your diet which help to fight all the free radicals in your body, prevent those cancer cells from multiplying, and they feed our gut bugs and keep our gut bugs really healthy and happy. And those gut bugs, if your gut bugs aren't happy and healthy, the rest of your body is not going to be happy and healthy.
Okay. Now I just wanted to ask you about the calcium. I don't want to get too technical here, because I know that when it gets too technical I can sort of switch off a little bit because I can't keep up with it. But for example, I have low cholesterol, but I've recently found out that I do have a calcium build-up in my arteries from a genetic point of view. So the cardiologist has asked me to halve my already good cholesterol. So I was under the impression that dairy contained some of the bad cholesterol. So I've been trying to cut back on that, and I notice sometimes that you can get caught with the low-fat descriptions on a product, and they might be full of sugar or something. So for someone like me who has to watch or has to try and have a nil cholesterol level practically, what sort of dairy would I be eating?
So you can choose the low fat or the skim varieties. They don't have extra added sugars in them. The sugar content of them is very similar to the full fat varieties. It might change by 1 or 2 grams,
Okay.
which is not significant. Choosing a natural low fat yogurt, so trying to stay away from the sweetened yogurts.
Yep.
And choosing some low fat hard cheeses. They're going to give you a good calcium intake as well. Yeah, so choosing the reduced fat dairy products will help reduce your saturated fat intake.
Okay. And I sometimes take a probiotic,
Very good
which
for
is
your gut
good
bugs.
for gut bugs.
Mm.
Yeah, so would you suggest that that's something I should keep doing, to include in my daily routine?
Yes, it's definitely not going to do you any harm, but by having the probiotic, you're increasing the diversity of your gut bugs, but you still have to feed them, and that's where the fibre comes in.
Right.
If you're not feeding them, they won't survive.
Okay. Now, we're all time poor, even if some of us are not working full-time anymore and our families have grown, but we have other activities, or there's just some days when you don't feel like preparing a healthy dinner. So rather than phoning up for an unhealthy pizza delivery or something, what would be your quick go-to recipe?
So I definitely have days where cooking dinner is the last thing that I want to do. So my go-to recipe is some frozen salmon fillets. Always have them in my deep freeze. A bagged salad. So our family loves the kale slaw salads.
Right.
And just some roasted potatoes in the oven. So I can put the salmon in from frozen. I don't even have to think about thawing it out. I don't have to plan ahead. Dice up the potatoes, put it all in the oven, walk away, do some of the chores that we need to do at night time when we get home from the day, throw the bag of salad into a bowl, toss it together, dinner's served.
Yeah. And that's the key, isn't it? Planning to have in your pantry or your freezer healthy alternatives that don't take long to make.
Yes.
And that way we're always covered.
Yeah, give yourself a break. Don't always think that you have to be cooking,
Yeah.
Nigella Lawson style every night.
No. Now, you've got some exciting news regarding an online service which I wanted to promote for you today.
Yes, I do.
So would you like to fill us in a little bit about that?
So I know that a lot of people are too busy to make it to a face-to-face appointment with me. So I thought, how can I help these people that are time poor? So I have got an app and a nutritional analysis software program that work nicely together, where people can keep a food diary for me for 5 days via this app, and I can analyse their nutritional intake using my software and give them some feedback on the key nutrients in their diet and some changes that they could make to improve the nutritional balance of their diet. And it's all done online via email and this app.
Which I've actually tried.
Yes.
And so I did that for Erin for my own benefit, but to test it out as well. And there were times when I was wanting to cheat and say, I won't put that down because that's naughty, or, I don't usually have that. But I thought, no, I will just be honest, otherwise I'm cheating myself, nobody else.
Yeah.
And she's come back with a fairly comprehensive report which we're going to go through together and see if we can just tweak my eating habits a little bit, and because we can always retweak things.
Yes.
And I think the key is that, as we've said before, healthy eating and smart eating is not, a quick fix. It's a lifestyle.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. And, what might be a fad today, yes, you'll lose weight if that's what you want to do. But then once you go off it, it comes back on again.
All diets work
Yeah.
until they don't.
Yeah.
Because they're unsustainable.
Yeah.
So you need to just change habits and not place restrictions on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to be. We need to be kind to ourselves and not put too much pressure on ourselves.
And we need to stop trying to be perfect. My diet is not perfect.
Yeah.
And I studied nutrition for 5 years.
Yeah.
So no one's diet is perfect. It's about making them as good as we can.
That's right. Making healthier food choices more often than not. And as we said, preparing and having that, backup plan. Especially if you do have to watch what you're eating and things like that, because it's so easy to, just call up a pizza or something, and so we need to find that. So just before we wrap up, we've gone through all of this and had some great information through, which I'll be putting up on the website. But I'd like to ask you what the day in the life of Erin is like.
So some days are crazy and some days go according to plan. I've got 2 primary school age children, so generally involves waking up, and I have to start my day with a coffee. The cogs don't start turning until I've had my coffee. My husband works away, but when he's home we always try and have our breakfast together. And then it's packing lunches, packing bags, getting the kids off to school, and then I head to my office, see my lovely patients for the day, and then the kids, they arrive at my office at about 3:15, and then we head off to the many activities that they're involved in. Try and do a little bit of work when I'm waiting in the car for them to do their activities. And then we head home and get dinner in the oven and homework and showers and bed, and then it all starts again. Yeah, so my life is just like everybody else's.
Yeah. So we're all busy.
Yes.
And just a couple of the takeaway points from today is that for women over 50, we do need to look at our calcium intake. We need to look after our gut health.
Yes.
And we need to, anything else that you want to...
We just need to be kind to ourselves and not try to be perfect, and just do the best we can.
Yeah. So if you would like to, find out more about Erin, I'll be putting a link to her services there, and it's great that you can do it online, because that way you can do it in your own time. And with her, you're also starting up group sessions at your office as well.
Running, and I can do, if people are wanting that face-to-face contact with me online, we can do the Skype consultations for follow-up as well.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, thanks very much for joining
me
today. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to have a look and learn about how we can be fit, fab and fabulous in 2019, and happy healthy eating. And don't forget, next week it's Smart Eating Week, so why not try and look up a healthy recipe and make that a special meal, and be mindful and enjoy it while you're eating it. So bye for now, and thanks again.